Sure. Okay, that leaves us time to squeeze in one more last quick question. You may regret that. The question is, and this question comes from Gary from Queens. What should our communal policy, or should there even be one, vis-a-vis open Orthodox rabbis serving in our shuls or speaking, or as acceptance in general? Rabbi Kobre.
Well, let me just say that this is a question that intersects with an earlier question, and I wasn't able to address earlier. So let me take this opportunity. We talked a couple of questions ago about the issue of organizations that seek to step into the vacuum in regard to the issue of homosexuality in our community. Organizations that are antithetical to Torah values. Let me just read you an email which came through my computer just a couple of days ago, courtesy of the estimable Rabbi Avram Gordimer, in which he shared something that was written by the chairman of the Talmud department at a Riverdale institution known as Yeshiva Chovevei Torah. And here's what the gentleman writes. This is why we owe a debt of gratitude to the LGBTQ Orthodox community. While many in our community are aching to get out, they fight heroically to stay in. They still find value in our religious trajectory. We should therefore welcome and embrace them. I'll skip down. That's what we owe the beautiful members of the LGBT community. A blessing of mazel and bracha in their pursuit of sacredness and authenticity. So we have an issue here. And the issue is that when we talk about organizations or individuals that are pushing a militantly homosexual agenda in our community, within the Orthodox community, and seeking its legitimization, it's important to understand, and I say this based on deep research into the literature, into the personalities, into these movements. It's true not only of this movement, but it's true of, for example, of many parts of the Orthodox feminist movement. It's not about feminism, and it's not about homosexuality. It's about belief in the basics, in the Ikrei Amunah of Judaism. And I can tell you that that's what they reject. It's not that they're pushing, they're militating for acceptance of homosexuality, and that somehow it can be consonant with Judaism, or for radical feminism to somehow be consonant with Judaism. They reject the whole lot. They reject the Ikrei Amunah. It's something that's demonstrable. It's something I have demonstrated in print, and I'm happy to share those sources and resources with anyone who's interested or is looking to know the facts. But that's really what it's about. It's about where do you stand vis-a-vis Orthodox Judaism? Are you in or out? And they're talking one way, but their beliefs and their actions and their words and their beliefs are radically at odds with Orthodox Judaism. And we need to really bring some intellectual honesty to the whole topic, to many of these topics.
Okay, before we end, you want to?
I would like to hear Rabbi Moishe.
Well, I think that Rabbi Horowitz often talks about the issue of children who leave Orthodox observance and how their family should deal with them. And the evolution of my thinking with regard to this issue is very similar to that analysis. I agree with Rabbi Horowitz, and I see it consistently, that the more serious the avodas Hashem of a family, the more likely they are to embrace someone who's going off the derech in their family than alienate them. But there's an exception to that. And the exception to that, I would assume Rabbi Horowitz would agree, that if that alienating child is sitting at the Shabbos table trying to court others in the family to join them to Mechal Shabbos, that's when you would say you're no longer welcome at the Shabbos table. And I think that really is the issue that we're struggling with right now with those. And I have a hard time with the broad brush of open Orthodoxy. I'm not sure that everyone who has a relationship with others who are open Orthodox are necessarily part of that camp as well. I think we have to be a lot more nuanced in how we draw broad stripes. But I think anybody who does assume an affirmative goal of creating a broader perspective that is inalien to our Torah values and is inconsistent with our Ikrei Amunah as well as our Besorah and our approach to Shmiras HaMitzvahs, they have to be alienated from the community. There's no question about it. That doesn't mean that everyone who falls within a camp is in the exact same place. I think we have to take a little bit more of a nuanced approach, but certainly the fundamentals of making clear the lines of demarcation in our hashkafa, in our hanhaga, in our Masorah has to be clear, and we need to make sure that that the community appreciates what is acceptable and what's not acceptable within Torah Judaism.
And just